Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some things that are going to help you change your classroom dynamics. Having some classroom management strategy difficulties right now, this video is going to help you. We're going to fix that noisy classroom. We're going to fix the escalating problems that are happening in your classroom, and I want you to try some things on today. And really, it's not anything that's new. It's just going to be reiterating probably some things that you have already done in the classroom, but making sure you are doing it every single day. It doesn't happen one day. It doesn't happen one week. It doesn't happen within 1 month. It might take 179 days for you to get things right, but on your 180th day, you have it right, and then you can start fresh for the next school year. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing is you want to make a safe environment in your classroom, especially if you feel like you have students coming in that are very escalated, problems that are happening outside of your classroom. If you are a middle school teacher, it might happen in a class before, but if you are an elementary school teacher, it might even happen at home and kids are coming to school already escalated, or just anywhere else besides your classroom. You want to make sure that your students know that your classroom is a safe space and that they need to leave that problem at the door, or they need to resolve it with you. And so that starts off by building a great relationship so students can come in and confide in you. And that still might take a very long time, especially if students who are coming in escalated, they might have some trauma backgrounds, and it takes a long time for them to really trust somebody and open up to somebody that they know that is a person that they can talk to. And this is where you go back to your classroom expectations for the first week of school, the reteaching of those expectations, talking about the classroom dynamic of what those agreements look like. And if you don't have a class agreement in your classroom, aka classroom rules, you want to go ahead and do that tomorrow, this week. You want to come up with something together where everybody can put their name on it, put their stamp on it, and say, you know, this is what's going to help me learn. This is what you could do. This is what is something that I can do as a teacher. This is how we're all going to work together collectively to make our classroom run a lot smoothly. Students don't like the conflict that's happening in the classroom. You might think they might like it because they're the audience towards it, but they don't really like it. They're coming to school to learn. A lot of them want routine. And if you look at your classroom, if you don't have a routine in your classroom, they're going to see that and they're going to take advantage of it in a negative way. Make sure that you look back at those expectations, those routines, and reteach those repeatedly until they get them down pat. And sometimes it's going to take all the way until winter break until those things are solidified within your classroom and they're done like clockwork. Some things that you could do immediately in the classroom that can change your relationship with your students is just greeting them at the door and greeting them by name. Now, as a dean of students, I see a lot of teachers who are not standing at the door greeting their students at their door. As I walk around and I greet the students as they come in for breakfast, a lot of the teachers are at their desks. They are somewhere else in the classroom. They're on the phone. They might not even be in the classroom. So making sure that you see your student and you greet them at the door. You say hi to every single one of them. You greet them by name. You say something positive about them. So nice shirt, nice shoes. You look great today. You look very beautiful. Something very positive to them to get their day started will change a dynamic for you that you wouldn't even ever know. Giving them a fist pump or an elbow, something that is going to let them know, hey, I see you and I see that you're in my classroom today and I'm glad and I'm happy that you're here. Makes a world of difference, especially if you got a student that escalates a lot in your classroom, that has a trauma background. That will mean a world of difference for them and for you and for your students as well. Also, trying to make a connection with them. See something, a common interest, a common like. I had a student wearing a Selena shirt. I love Selena. I love the movie. And I would say, oh, I love Selena. I love your shirt. I like that. So I can open up a door. And if you do that every single day and you're learning something about your student every single day, that also opens up relationship building that may not have been there before. When conflict does happen in your classroom and all hell breaks loose, which it does and it has in my classroom as well, there are a few things that you could do. First of all, here's some signs to look for. If you're seeing students that are already in a non-compliance and defiant behavior, that's already an issue right there. If you see a student coming in that's crying, if you see a student that doesn't answer you when you call them by name or say, hi, how are you doing? If you see these things, you know that there's something else going on. If you see something that is going to cause conflict and maybe a student is hurting themselves, hurting others, being loud, being boisterous to other students in the classroom, you want to make sure you remove the audience. So some students might feel like they're doing this because they want to obtain that peer attention and not listen to you and they think it's cool. but you want to get them either, depending on the situation, remove students out of the classroom so that that student doesn't have the audience anymore. And that keeps everybody safe physically and emotionally. And you can take your learning elsewhere, and you can call admin to come deal with the student that is escalated. If you do have the opportunity, you got to restate these expectations. You got to restate the expectations, the agreements, everything that was made in the beginning that I talked about earlier. You also want to act fast. You don't want things to linger. You want to move on from a situation. You don't want students to continue talking about it. You don't want to have any sort of grudge and hold that grudge and revisit it, especially after it's already ended. You do want to have a restorative conversation, just not you and the student, but you and a third party, you and the counselor, the behavior interventionist, the dean, someone else in the admin sector, somebody that's going to come in and bridge the gap of where it was broken. Remember, respect on respect. Everybody gives and receives, and it's just how it's going to go for the rest of the year, regardless of what grade level the student's in. That respect level, that relationship is going to go a long way for both parties. Don't hold grudges. Don't take it personal. Just let it go. Kids are going to be kids first. Remember always to remain calm. As a person that is an adult in the room, the look on your face, your reaction, your emotional stability in the classroom can turn the entire classroom upside down. If you look scared, you're going to give the students a scared look. If you look emotional, like you're going to cry, you're going to give the students that. If you look mad, like you're ready to fight back, you're going to give that back to the student as well. So whatever you're going to show as a teacher, you just want to do your best to remain calm. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes that might mean you need to remove yourself and have somebody else come in. Whatever works for you in that situation, you want to make sure that you are just de-escalating situations. You want to manage your classroom in a way that students know what to do if things like this persist or things like this happen. These are some classroom management strategies that you can do to help out your classroom, keep the learning environment where nobody else is interfering. And if you want some more classroom management strategies, you can check out my classroom behaviors video that I'll link here up next. Also, if you need a little bit more in depth on my classroom management style, which is a little bit different, then you can check out my ebook, Reach More, Teach More, that I'll link up here as well. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.